Hey Mo fans, Matt, Joe, and Pete here with Mainline Overland, and we've got another episode of Overlanding 101. This week we're going to be talking about mid-size SUVs, and what do we got on the list, Pete?
Yeah, we've got the Prado 150, we've got the Bronco, we've got the Jeep JL, and the new Defender.
So let's dive in.
All right, so first up we're going to talk about the Prado 150, which is basically the current GX460 as well as the 5th Gen 4Runner. Definitely a legendary go-to platform, worldwide platform, utilizing effectively the same frame with some minor changes for drivetrains, suspension, all that stuff, but a lot of the same items bolt right up. Different bodies, different interiors. I think it's a great platform. I think it's killer. You know, the only con for me is that maybe a little bit underpowered, but super reliable, which is great. And then just everybody's done them, so it's getting really boring.
Yeah, that's the biggest pro for me is just the reliability of them. If you're looking to take a truck out in the woods and you want it to start every time, kind of not run into issues, that would be my number one choice for no issues, no problem kind of rig.
Definitely.
I would say con, I don't think they're the best looking rigs out there. There's definitely tons of aftermarket support, so you can kind of customize it to fit your needs, but I just think there's better looking rigs out there.
Definitely.
Strong resale value. I think you're going to get your money's worth out of them in the long run. Hard to find one, that isn't heavily modified.
Yeah, I've been looking, and
at this point.
It's honestly hard to find a deal out there.
Yeah, very true. You're going to be running like a 285, 7017, like a 33, and just be okay with that.
Yeah. Definitely. Another con for me would just be the GX460 is generally full-time all-wheel drive. It can be a little tricky to re-gear when you're running that full-time front all-wheel drive diff with the clamshell with the hot ratio. Not a lot of fluid. Things get hotter quicker. So, I like the 4Runner a little better there. I think the selectability is nice. I think that the 4 liter is a little bit more punchy to me than the 4.6 V8. So those are, I think I'd probably go with the 4Runner. All right, now we're going to talk about the Defender, which we would probably peg as the least reliable option. Following the Prado 150, we thought we'd do kind of yin and yang there a little bit.
See the opposite end of the spectrum here.
Absolutely, yeah. So a unique platform, definitely like a cool design, worked a lot of retro stuff into the build.
Yeah.
Definitely very capable, but not built for kind of that worldwide reliability.
Yeah, there's just not a ton of off-road aftermarket upgrades, and the ones that are out there are expensive, and they're also expensive to kind of perform.
Correct.
I've ridden in a few different new Defenders off-road on our trail rides, and they're incredibly comfortable with the air suspension, but that also brings up the issue of reliability with the air suspension. Like, when is that going to fail? I know previous generation Land Rovers always had air suspension issues.
Yes, it's just a matter of time.
So that's kind of always in the back of your head with those.
Yeah, I think if you're going to be doing mods like bumpers and winches and things like that, they're a lot more complicated than you would think, or like the previous Defenders that were the classic easy bolt-on bumper and a winch setup. So be ready, be prepared to spend a lot of money to modify an already expensive vehicle.
Yeah, the new Defender's gone like full soft. It is an extremely comfortable vehicle for the street. The air suspension is amazing in standard ride height going down the road. You start putting on lift rods, you're running at higher pressures. The ride gets stiffer. You've got alignment stuff that isn't always going to come back into spec. If you want to go real big, which we've done, you are spending a ton of money on drop brackets, spacers, and a severe amount of labor for things that are simple as little as like a winch bumper that we could do in a couple hours. On a 4Runner, you're talking about a couple days on a Defender.
The one thing I do really like about the new Defender is there's 3 different sizes now. Where all the other platforms we're talking about, you might get a 2-door or 4-door option, but the Defender has a nice little 90, kind of mid-size 110.
Yeah.
And if you're trying to take your whole family out in the woods, they now have the 130, which I think is pretty cool to see a kind of off-road capable big truck like that.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the Jeep JL platform. You've got a couple different motor options for sure. So you've got some variety. You can go big with the 392. You can go diesel. You can go hybrid. So you've got some flexibility on whatever kind of front you want to go with, right?
Hard to beat. Solid axle, right?
If you're looking for off-road performance, it's really hard to beat the Jeep.
Yeah.
But you do suffer on-road comfort.
Definitely.
And if you're pounding a lot of miles, as a lot of Overlanders do, you're driving a long time on the highway.
Yeah.
Might be doing some long hours on some dirt roads.
Yeah.
That might be something you should consider are you really willing to sacrifice that on-road comfort for that off-road ability? Because if you're not trying to hit really crazy trails, it might not make the most sense.
Yeah.
Definitely.
You've got easily, out of the box performance, off-road that beats everything kind of out
Yeah,
of the box.
yeah. This is the only solid axle front and rear platform that we're even talking about. So something interesting there. And then yeah, just incredible capability, incredible modification that you can do to it. The new interior is pretty killer over what the JK was, which was not very killer.
Yeah, they've made a huge improvement with the JL. I never thought I'd ever buy a Jeep, but with the new JLs coming in and out, that's something I'm definitely considering.
For sure. Definitely probably the most, like the tightest interior of them all. And like Joe said, just like, maybe comfort and reliability. There's just more going on, more potential for maybe a death wobble or something like that. Less wear and tear like you could have on an IFS truck, but still, a good bit to maintain.
Yeah.
Yeah, in general, I'd say if you get a Rubicon out of the box, it's going to make you look like a better driver than you are.
Pretty much. Yeah. Easy button, just look like a hero, and have the payment to prove it.
So lastly, we're going to talk about the car that we actually own, which is the Ford Bronco. We've owned this for a little over a year and a half now.
Yeah, definitely.
So
been pretty reliable. I think we got like 20,000 miles on it.
Yeah.
Knock on wood, jury's still out on it. It is a turbocharged Ford, so we'll see how that works out. 10-speed's pretty cool. Kind of maybe best of both worlds, lock-in front and rear diffs with a solid axle rear, IFS front. Take the top off, have a soft top, have a hard top. When you have the hard top on, it creaks like an old loose floorboard.
it does.
So if you like to act like you're on an episode of This Old House, the Bronco might be for you.
Yeah, cabin noise is definitely at an all-time high.
Yeah, for sure. I think they sound terrible.
That's my biggest complaint is engine noise and wind noise. It's incredibly comfortable on the road. You can do 70 miles an hour in the left lane.
Yeah, 70. Just 70.
Just 70.
Not a hair more.
And it'll track dead straight, but it is so loud.
Yeah. Very comfortable truck. Like kind of wider than the JL.
Way more room inside, yeah.
Way more comfortable. And I would still buy the Bronco again out of this batch just because we've kind of been through everything else and worked on everything else. And it's new and exciting, but I don't know that I'm a super big fan of quality.
Yeah, I think it checks all the boxes in terms of like the nostalgic factor. Really like reminds you of the old school Bronco, but it has all the new world technology, has the comfort. You can put the miles in it, has the space for all your gear. The hard top and trying to figure out that roof rack scenario is a big design flaw. I would say.
Yeah, the OEM one's pretty good, I think, but it took a while for them to get there.
Yeah.
So with the Bronco on the trail, the big pro for me is just it is incredibly comfortable. Definitely one of the more comfortable trucks I've ridden in on trail.
Yep.
I do want to mention that the trail turn assist seems to be a bit of a gimmick.
Yeah.
One thing I don't really like about the trail turn is it basically locks that rear wheel.
Yeah.
And it basically just tears the hell out of the trail.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really help you turn that much better.
Yeah, for sure. Just kind of dramatic gravel parking lots.
But you definitely feel, we were saying earlier, you have a nice interior space, but you definitely feel that extra width
for sure
when you're on the trail.
Joe knows all about that.
Yeah.
Cue
I know right
fender.
where that line is.
Yeah. Oh, he's on the fender.
Yeah. For sure. And their trail camera system's pretty killer.
Yeah, it is.
So you can kind of, see exactly what you're about to smash, right, Jeff?
Yeah, you can watch it in real time.
Excellent.
All right, wrapping up, let's give our final thoughts on all 4 platforms. Let's start with the Bronco.
Yeah,
Who's going to buy the Bronco?
The Bronco is for that nostalgic person that remembers the Bronco, that is looking for that fresh platform with some capability, but some daily driver livability, and kind of the modularity and the comfort that it provides. It's going to appeal to the person that is going to fall victim for the Bryan Cranston commercial where he says Bronco and makes you want to go buy a Canyon Arrow.
If something is going to be called a Bronco, it better be able to live up to that name.
Seems like the Bronco is for people that want to be Jeep life, but aren't necessarily ready to commit to Jeep life.
They're for all the Jeep people that don't wave back.
All right, let's talk about the Jeep platform. Who's going to buy the Jeep? Somebody who probably had a Jeep before in the past. So we're always
someone with a beach house. Don't they all have beach houses?
Yeah.
Someone that likes collecting rubber ducks.
Somebody who's
a
not a good
lifeguard.
driver and wants to look good on the trail.
Someone that is part of the Baywatch set. No, someone that wants to wheel with a solid axle and is willing to compromise all of the comforts because they don't have a family or anybody to give them a hard time about it yet.
Somebody who wants like 10,000 options to modify it, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Somebody who wants to find little design features around their vehicle when they're constantly servicing it.
Or those who are really angry and want their Jeep to show it.
Yes. Somebody that misses J.C. Whitney's catalog.
All right, but seriously, somebody who seriously wants to hit the trail, you know, the Jeep is hard to beat. The Bronco is definitely trying to compete and is doing a good job of it. But the Jeep is out of the box, the easiest one to hit the trails with immediately.
Yeah.
Right.
If you buy Rubicon, you could tackle a lot of terrain.
Without modifying it at all.
without touching it. So who's the Defender for?
The Defender,
A Land Rover generally.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's true.
pretty much.
Anyone who loves Land Rovers is going to love the Land Rover.
The
That's
man
pretty
with
much how
a
it
closet
works.
full of leather patch jackets and vests.
Those who love wax canvas.
Yeah.
Somebody who just prefers to be comfortable and, you know, looking good. Than
Might
actually
want to
yeah.
act as a status
Getting
symbol,
dirty.
maybe?
Yeah.
Somebody that's got to have a big enough vehicle to go pick up all of their Barber jackets after they've been waxed that season.
If you've always wanted a Defender, a real Defender, but couldn't deal with the, you know, narrowness and having your arm out the window the whole time when you drive it.
But I would say that is the real Defender experience.
I
You got to
know.
be a little uncomfortable.
Yeah,
know.
this is like the double wide Defender.
Yeah.
You guys aren't gonna like that. The Defender's for the guy that wants to go wheeling on the weekends in New England, but has to be able to drive it to the office the following day.
Yeah.
He can keep it muddy in the parking lot, but he can't have it on 40s.
Definitely a little more tame owner who just wants a really comfortable truck. They can still get out there, still enjoy camping, still see the beautiful scenery out there.
Yeah.
But might not be too concerned about hitting the toughest trails.
It's going to be quieter when you're
Yeah.
driving, and you can take conference calls all day long in it.
Definitely, yeah. All right, Prado 150. So the 5th gen 4Runner and the GX 460. A lot of option in that one little segment there.
Yeah.
You've got the 4Runner for people that just want that capability and reliability, with still some really great aftermarket support
Totally.
and comfort.
Yeah.
And then you got the GX 460, which is maybe if you've had a 4Runner and you want to try something new, or you want to go like a little bit more luxury, then that is the next level up.
Yeah, I think the GX especially strikes a really nice balance between comfort and capability.
Yeah.
It's kind of the nest in between the Defender comfort, but not quite as capable.
Yeah.
But still comfortable, so reliable.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a bulletproof truck all around. Kind of the
Yeah, it's the,
multi-tool.
It's
Yeah.
the 4Runner Plus. It's got more space, it's got a bigger motor, it's got more luxury, it's got some more creature comforts.
So I think if you're looking to buy a rig that you're planning to keep 10 plus years and not dump a bunch of money into maintenance and repairs, I think the Prado platform is kind of where you want to spend your money.
Yeah, for sure. For me, it would be the 4Runner with a selectable transfer case, even though it has the 4-liter. That would be my go-to. I don't know about you.
I would definitely pick the 460. I've got to driven a few of them, and they're just incredibly comfortable, and I really like how they look over the 4Runner.
Yeah, I kind of lean toward the GX 460 a little bit in terms of looks, comfort, you know, the motor.
You can get AC seats in there, so that sold me.
All right, now that we've told you what we think, why don't you tell us what you think in the comments below? Be sure to like and subscribe, and I'm sure we'll have some great banter between solid axle and independent front suspension.
For sure. We'll respond to every comment and give you a hard time.
And if you want to see our thoughts on mid-size trucks, full-size trucks, go ahead and check out our previous videos where we discuss the pros and cons of all those.
Definitely. And stay tuned for more Overlanding 101s in the future.
Thanks for watching.